There's nothing more that makes you like fucking like awkward as shit than somebody just giving you a countdown and you're like, oh fuck.
How else do you do that? Like, should you mouth it? Should you like
I don't know.
hand or
Well,
motion? You can see my hands.
It's amazing because like there was no pressure, and then there's like all the pressure. It's just like all of a sudden I'm just like my palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, dude. It's fucking
vomit on the sweater.
It's fucking
Mom
wild.
spaghetti.
But, so how we doing, boys? Good to
We're
see
doing
Stuart
great.
back. Stuart back at home,
In high definition.
high def.
Not sounding like shit through an earbud.
Welcome back, big dog.
Well, I wouldn't get
Thanks,
too
man.
far ahead of ourselves.
How was your vacation?
It was great. Got some sun. Feel
Nice.
good.
I was gonna say, is that it? We're just gonna stop it. I got some sun. I got some sun.
You cannot know where I went on vacation. You cannot know what I've
Rest
done.
of it sucked balls. He's like, but I got some sun.
I
Got
bought
some-
you a
got some
souvenir
sun.
that has no part of the location of where I went on it.
Wait, I don't even think
The
I have
lighter.
any souvenirs.
It's like a blue Bic lighter.
I
Dude,
swear I've
you
only
know
seen them here.
You know what I bought on vacation? I spent $80 on a sneaker cleaning kit.
No
on
shit.
vacation. I went to the mall in
How much?
Reno, Nevada. $80. I went to the mall at Reno,
Ooh.
Nevada, and I was walking through like the main plaza, and this dude comes over and he's like, "Nice sneakers," and I'm wearing my Don issue 3s, the white and gold, and he's like, "Those are they're fucking fresh." I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." He's like, "Come over here, let me freshen them up," and I'm like,
Let me
"Dude,"
shine your shoes, boy.
well, he's a black dude.
oh
and I was
shit!
like, I don't
Didn't mean
want
to go
stand.
there.
I don't want to
Yeah,
stand in the middle of
dude.
this mall as a fat, pink white dude with a black dude shining my shoes. And I'm
Yeah.
like, whatever he's selling, I'm gonna have to buy now.
Absolutely.
Did you take the
So
shoes off?
huh?
Did you take the shoes off?
No, dude, I stood up there like a massa with my fucking foot up on the block, and he's on his knee, like going to town on it. And I'm like, dude, I'm
Hey.
buying whatever the fuck you're selling, dude.
He put
Gotta
you in
take
that
him off.
position. I mean, that's
that's hardcore salesmanship.
Yeah.
That
dude,
was
it's
a white-
2022. I mean, like, it's impossible to not take that away from that situation in 2022. Like, it's like the same thing as like if there was still somewhat of like a business of like people like squeegeeing windshields. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just one of those things where like you got to give the guy a couple bucks. Like you can't just let some guy run up to you on the street and squeegee your windshield and then you're like, yeah, dude, fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta give him a few bucks.
You
But
guys,
he was cracking all the jokes. Like he had all the lines. He's like, "I'm gonna clean these things up," blah blah blah. And
He went back 40 years, dude, 50 years.
well, he's like, "What size can I get you?" And he had like different size. And I was like, "Dude, I'm flying with this. I need the smallest like TSA kit." So I got the brush and I got the polish and I got the waterproofing and all that. $80, way overcharged me. I could find that shit on Macari for $20.
It's all right
But-
though.
Not the
Yeah.
experience though.
Yeah.
And an extra $60 just to be like, I swear to God, I'm not racist.
Yeah, this was if I'd have known that I would have never even come this way if I'd have known that this was a possibility.
Yep.
Like I
Yeah.
would have just I would have avoided this area.
I would have gone through the food court.
Yeah, well, it's
But-
all right. At least we know
Some free
Reno,
samples.
Nevada is.
And he's like, now that you bought from me, he's like, anytime you're back in town, come back. He's like,
like
I'll-
he's
I'll-
gonna remember
like,
you.
Yeah.
he's like, I'll freshen you up for free. I said, and I straight up told him, I was like, dude, I'm too white for that shit. I was like, this is the first and the last time. And then,
Bro, you're gonna walk up
I
to that
said
guy in
that-
like 4 years. He's gonna be like, man, who the fuck is this guy? Who the fuck are you?
I like the idea of Stuart walking up to him like the fucking dude in House of Cards, just like popping his feet up, being like,
yeah.
like with a fucking long monologue.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
the weather
Need you to freshen up
outside.
my shoes there, bright one. I was like, well, I'll go over there and eat some white cake and drink lemonade.
You remember me?
I got my mint julep.
I bought an $80 shoe set from you 4 years ago.
It'd be like that scene from Vacation where he's like, man, can you give me directions to get back on the freeway? He's like, man, fuck your mama. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. I'll be at
Oh,
FYE.
That's good shit. Well, good. I'm glad you had a little. I mean, glad it's been a while. Glad you got a little vacation.
Yeah.
How else we doing, fella? Jack, Ric Flair's last match.
Ric Flair's last match.
Dude, let's fucking go.
Guys, in true WCW fashion, the entire night was basically stolen by a luchador match randomly placed in the middle of the card. It was totally the way better than everything else that was on the entire card. A random luchador just stole the show.
Nice.
But long story short, Ric Flair's last match, as you guys all know, in Nashville, it was a really cool event. Went with 3 of my buddies, and we, Ric Flair had a really cool entrance, and that's where kind of the fun stopped for me.
Was the match bad?
It wasn't bad. Like when you saw it live, there was some energy in the crowd, but like what was bad was that he couldn't fucking move. Like physically, that part looked bad. But the reception, nobody was like booing. No, everybody was paying their respects. That part, the atmosphere.
Because he almost died.
I don't know if the TV picked it up, but like the people were
I saw how slow he moved, like in the little clips.
Well, okay, so for those who didn't catch it, Ric Flair, a 73-year-old man who should not have been wrestling in this tag team match, he fucking got cut open, or he cut himself, whatever. 2 of my favorite parts of the entire match, though, were when he was on the side of the ring, he faked a fucking heart attack, and when Jay Lethal got close to him, he was like, oh, and he got close. He just gave him a nice little fucking poke to the eyes.
The dirtiest player in the game.
Classic Ric Flair.
Always the slick Rick.
Always slick Rick. And then, but the real funny shit was that two things. He did take a fucking nice suplex. I'll say that, or it wasn't a suplex. It was a nice slam. Yeah, and then he also took a really nasty fucking what was it?
Paycheck?
Yeah, paycheck from everybody. He stole everybody's money. No.
Did Andrade do his special? The DDT from the rope? Did he do that on anybody? That's one of my favorite specials. I love that special where like he, you know what I'm talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about, Stuart. So he stands like he put your feet in the ropes, and he like your feet are like here's the rope, your feet are like this, and he like kind of like holds you and then DDTs you while your feet are like propped up on the rope. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's one of my favorite moves.
Cool spot, but I think he probably held off just to make sure that Rick got all the shine.
So did Rick win via pinfall?
He won by pinfall, kind of, because he was doing a sharp.
He put him in the figure 4. But the problem with the ending is that it should have been a double count out, because Rick was so gassed that he
poor guy.
He put him
7 years old. Of course he's gassed.
He put him in the figure 4 and then just laid out, and he was like dead. And he didn't move. Meanwhile, Double J, so he's selling it.
Right.
But his
elbows were down.
Jeff Jarrett's shoulders are down, and the ref goes 1, 2, 3,
shoulders,
counts it out. But meanwhile, you look at Rick, his shoulders are down too, and you're like, this should have been a double count out.
Yeah.
Well, dude, okay, so when Ric Flair was supposed to take the fucking hot tag, he was laying on the fucking mat, and like he took a tag from out on the ground when he was supposed to be coming in for the fight finale. They're like, Rick, we need you just for 2 more minutes, please don't gas out.
Right.
No, but the funniest part was when they fucking put him on the
profusely.
top. Dude, he was bleeding profusely. They put him on the top turnbuckle, and he was supposed to take like a slam. You can see that Jay Lethal like looks at it, and he's like, I'm not fucking doing this shit, dude. Yeah. And Rick Flair like climbed down, and they did his slam on the mat. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, he would have taken that off the top turnbuckle. We might
actually see Ric Flair die live.
There was a point in the match where Andrade slid Rick some brass knucks, and there was just going to be like a cheap shot spot. Andrade, whatever his name is, Andrade. He put the knuckles on Rick's hand, and they started to slide off again. And Rick is just dazed, like he's not there.
Did you not hear?
As soon as the knuckles were falling, I went, "Oh no!" Like he's not like conscious. He's out on his.
He's literally hallucinating. Like he's.
I'm not kidding, guys.
In the knuckle shot, or the brass knuck shot was so like
I think I saw the shot. I didn't see all that,
brutal.
but I did see the net brass knuck shot.
So after the match, Ric Flair does his like little speech to the crowd, bro, and he literally said, "I don't remember half of it." Like,
yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah,
bro, I was like, I believe you. Like, holy shit,
he was
that's
not
so
getting oxygen. Like he was so out of it,
dude. He looked beat red. He was bleeding all over the place. Like, it just
fuck that Conrad dude.
And then the promoter made him do that shit. That's fucked up. Anyway, but we got to see in the crowd there was the Undertaker. Mick Foley showed up. There were some cool cats. Some really great matches. Overall, pretty sweet night. Got to see the Nature Boy his last time. So I don't know. I really hope that he doesn't do another fucking match. I don't think he. I'm not even for my selfish reasons. I don't want to be like, oh, because I went to the last. I kind of am ashamed that I was even.
Well,
I even gave that fucking.
You were a part of it.
You got to understand.
I gave that dude money. Yeah.
Yeah, that will never happen again. And even if it does happen again, like if it's some blood match somewhere, like it's not going to get the reception. Like it's not going to have the support. Like all them old heads aren't going to be there. You know, Mick Foley and Taker. Like that's one of those things where like you could tell all those people were involved because like not that they wanted to be, but like they were all like, this is the last time we're going to be involved in some shit like this. So let's make it count. Let's send him off. Let's give him a last good 3 years of his life, you know, and fucking and call it a day. But if he does get it, you know, I mean, there's a chance he gets it, but I don't think it would be like is warmly receptive because everybody, you know, was pretty cool about this. They're like, yeah, maybe not, but it is the last one. Let Rick have it.
I hope so. You got to see Ricky Morton.
Yeah.
Dude, you saw the Rock and Roll Express, dude.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. But other than that, I'm glad everybody's doing all right. But, you know, we are here. We are back for our second week of our breakdowns of the NFL, getting ready for the upcoming NFL season, the 2022-2023 NFL season. Like we explained last week, we're going to go division by division. Last week, we started with the AFC South. You can catch that on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. If you go to our YouTube channel, we've actually got it broken down by preview, so you can check it out there. Today, we are going to roll on to its counterpart, the NFC South. We have got this is a little more interesting than last week. We've got a little more competition in this one as far as like you know, and we've got the reigning. We've got two competitive teams. We've got a tard fight at the bottom. You know, so this is good. But we've got the GOAT. We've got a resurgence, and you know, the Saints are coming back. You know, Baker and the Panthers, they've got 15 quarterbacks that are competing in camp right now. So we're going to get into the NFC South today. We're going to start with, I believe, the Panthers, right? Is that what we're going to get into?
Yeah, we might as well start with the worst, right?
Yeah. I don't even know if they are. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Hot take already?
Oh, dude, not even 15 minutes in.
Pepper, the floor is yours, dude.
We're 13 and a half minutes in, and Pepper's already pissed off Carolina. His home, his people. Talk to him. Talk to him.
Look, if you are unfortunately a Carolina Panthers fan, it's going to be a tough year. Let's be honest here. All right.
It sounds so awful when you say it too. Like, coming out of your
because
mouth,
you know it's the truth.
He knows how to let you down. Like
he says it's so matter of factly. I'm like, I'm not even a Panthers fan, and I'm terrified for him.
It's like,
but go ahead,
dude.
The worst part is that you have great speed and you know, agile players on the ends of your offense. You have Chris McCaffrey. You have DJ Moore.
What's left?
What's left? See, jumping the points, my man. You're exactly right. No, you're totally right though.
Give the man
DJ
the floor,
Moore,
and then you take his fucking point.
No, it's he's exactly 100% right because that is the issue here. Does anybody in this, you know, chat here actually think that CMC is going to last a full season?
Dude, Jack and I just talked about this like 2 hours ago about his buddy and, you know, in Dynasty having McCaffrey. It's just like one of those like ouch moments to have him in to take him first overall in a Dynasty league where you're just like, you know, you're watching him like, fuck.
It's because when he has played, he's been the absolute best player in football. But the problem is he's been out for a year and a half.
Yep.
It just caught up to him.
And
absolutely.
It's just all the touches, and I don't think it's anybody's surprise. I remember it was when he was his best year. It was like if you took away all of his wide receiver stats, he would still be like the top 15 player in or like the top 5 player in the league, and that was like with quarterbacks and stuff included.
Yep.
Like it was like
Which is
insane.
nuts. It's actually nuts. Yeah, and it's not CMC. You know, if he could actually stay healthy for a little bit, I think you'd feel a lot better about this team. But because you look at the wide receiver room and you're like, wow, that's actually kind of talented. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrence Marshall Jr., still young, has some time to prove it. Rashad Higgins, my man.
Hollywood.
Yep. I mean, it's really not an awful room, but they have a bad quarterback, a bad offensive line, and
it's just a shame that they got some of these weapons after he already had 100,000 miles on his body. That's the problem. It's like they get him all this help and it looks nice now, but it's like, this is one of those teams where like they, it's kind of like if the Titans, we talked about the Titans last week, if the Titans had like 40% less talent and they had to just rely, like they kind of do the same. If you strip some of the talent away from them, they would look the same way with Derrick Henry. I feel like they, but they've got other talent around them where they've been able to like, they can do other things. The Carolina Panthers, they had Cam Newton, who was like fucking literally on the steepest down climb. I mean, has anybody ever like declined that fast ever? I mean, that's wild.
Yeah.
It's insane. And you got this guy who they're like, oh, he can do everything. They're like, okay, we have nothing else. Okay, well, we're not going to do our jobs and protect him. We're just going to put the entire fucking load on him and run him into the ground. And that's what happened.
You got to feel bad for DJ Moore fantasy owners. Sorry,
DJ
Alex.
Moore is such a talented wide receiver and such a freak athlete. And it's just who is the best who's had the best wide receiver fantasy season in a Baker Mayfield system? I would probably say it would probably have to be one of Jarvis's years. So that's kind of his upside, probably.
Which you'd say probably profiles more to the Terrence Marshall role, if I had to guess. It definitely doesn't profile to DJ or Robbie. Those are both down the field electric players. Probably Terrence. He plays in the slot.
He's going to be giving them that apology video where he's like, be patient, guys, be patient. He's going to be telling those two dudes that within a couple of weeks.
Well, if you paid any attention to like the first couple of days of like camp and like where they're doing the actual like 7-on-7, 11-on-11s, like you're seeing a lot of the other guys do. They're playing a little bit more safe. You're seeing a lot of the downfield shots coming from Baker, and I'm thinking, and I think that I think he's kind of always been a gunslinger, and I think part of that obviously is probably to prove that his arm's back. He's not he's got the sling off and everything, but you're seeing a lot. Most of the highlights that are coming from him out of camp are these deep shots. He's him and Robbie Anderson, or I guess they mended that. And they're working, but like, not that he's accurate. And I'm sure most of those are probably going to be underthrown and intercepted, but he'll have the opportunity. Now, will it be on target? No.
Yeah.
But the chances will be there, I think, for DJ.
Yeah.
We'll see. Who else we got? We got Robbie Anderson. Oh, Andrew, we got you upside down, Pimp Daddy.
Yeah, dude, you're Spider-Man. I want to just
wow,
kiss
look
you.
at that.
Sorry,
wow,
I actually bumped my
kiss
wire
you.
with my foot.
Just on the Cam
I'm Mary
Newton
Jane,
note,
baby.
on
The
Cam
first
Newton,
thought he had was, he's Spider-Man. I want to kiss him.
Dude, we can do this all day too.
I love that, dude.
Okay.
on the Cam Newton note, when you talked about like, has there ever been a player with a steeper decline, like the highest of the lowest of lows? There's only one player that comes to mind to compare it to, and that's Chad Pennington. Is Cam's more drastic than Pennington? Because Pennington was going to be the guy in New York.
Yeah,
Damn.
true that.
Pennington catching strays in this fucking podcast.
Yeah,
Bro, that had to have been the last time the Jets were good, right?
Well,
unfortunately, they had some years.
Sanchez took him to an AFC championship.
Oh yeah, I guess Marky Mark. I forgot all
Rex.
I forgot.
There's a
about
reason
Butt
Rex
Fumble.
Ryan tattooed his wife with the fucking Mark Sanchez jersey.
Yeah, he has a foot fetish.
Wait,
Foot
he did what?
foot
to his
fetish.
wife? What was that?
Rex Ryan has a tattoo of his wife on him, like pinup style of his wife wearing a Mark Sanchez jersey.
Yep. You didn't know that?
Bro, can we get that up on the fucking
Rexy's
thing?
a freak, dude.
Dude, he's a foot fetish. That's what I'm saying. Bet's he's got
I'm afraid that anybody is actually listening to this while driving a car because I feel like they might have crashed hearing that fucking sentence.
I thought it was well known.
No,
me too. I thought that was like because
I knew that.
he's always kind of gotten he's always kind of gotten fucked with about it.
That's kind of some cuck shit, isn't it? Like
absolutely.
Like,
yeah,
100%. A little bit having another dude's fucking
cuck
jersey
shame.
tattooed on your wife.
No cuck shaming.
Or your what? Wait, it's okay. Let me get this straight. Rex Ryan's tattoo. It's on his body. It's of his wife wearing a Mark Sanchez jersey.
Yes, but when he went to go head coach at Buffalo, they filled it in and recolored it to be a Buffalo Bills jersey.
Oh wow!
So it's
Whose
it should have been like Jeff Toole or something.
Dude, he better watch. He better watch out. It might go back to a Jets jersey and be fucking Zach Wilson's fucking jersey, and he's gonna be banging Rex's fucking wife.
Look the fuck up.
Dude.
There's a dog.
Yeah, Zach Wilson's hitting.
Rex Ryan's
wife is. There's no way. There is
you don't
no
think
way.
So?
There's no way. I don't know. I've never even seen. I've only seen the picture of her tattoo. I've never even seen his wife. But
you didn't watch the video where You didn't watch their like sexy little video that leaked?
No, no, I sure did.
Are you telling me there's a?
There you go, guys.
My God, that's it,
dude. That's it right there in the
wait,
right.
Wait, why? Does she look,
baby.
Why does she look like one of those football playing twin brothers in the shaving commercial?
Why does she have a amputated hand?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Remember I'm talking about the twin brothers in the
She's
NFL?
nubs.
One's got I forget that dude's
name. I will post the video onto Instagram and Twitter, but there is a video that leaked of Rex Ryan. It's his cell phone, so it's POV of Rex Ryan, and he's pretending to be a cop. They're role playing. He's a cop pulling over a lady, and she's got her feet hanging out the window, and he's like, "Do you know why I pulled you over, ma'am?" And meanwhile, he's just like, she's like, "I'm sorry, my feet slipped because I wasn't wearing shoes like while driving." And he's like, and he starts to like fondle her feet, and he's like, "These are very, very nice feet, ma'am." And you're like,
tell me that's a lie. You're lying.
No, right? It's a real video. I will send it. I will post it.
Fucking DM me that.
Actually, just forget. If you forgot, that'd be cool too.
No, dude, I'll make a montage video. I'll make a music clip with that fucking voiced over it.
Made 11 weeks, guys. 11 weeks before we got canceled.
Bro, I'll fucking empty out a lotion aisle.
Anyway, though, all the Jergens in Walgreens.
All the Jergens. To Jergen. You know what I'm saying? I bought all the Jergens to Jerg it. But
yeah, we don't like the Carolina offense.
Yeah, let's go back. Yeah, we literally don't like Carolina so much, so we just talked about fucking Rex Ryan's ass tattoo.
I will say they do have some talent on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Brian Burns is
nice. Shaq Thompson's nice. Corey Littleton's nice.
Stuart
J.C. Horn.
Jeremy Chin can be nice. He had a really good rookie season.
He had a good year last year.
Yeah, he regressed a little bit.
He's good in fantasy.
Yeah,
but, like defense, they're not awful actually. If you look at
J.C. Horn is going to be,
well, they've got a top 10. They've got a top 10 defense. For sure,
probably.
They're ranked
right around 10. I think.
Sure,
They're not super high on that top 10, but anywhere from 8 to 12.
I think it's fair to say that they have a lot of dudes on their defense.
Oh.
Guys who can just get it done. Not mean.
Corey Littleton,
yeah. Dude, Zane Gonzalez. They got Johnny Hecker. I didn't know that.
Oh shit, Johnny Hecker got traded from the.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't.
Well, I don't think he got traded.
He was the longest. He was like the longest tenured athlete.
Yeah.
Like in LA and St. Louis for a while.
Yeah. He's a good dude. Yeah, there's not a whole lot here to like.
Johnny Hecker has a podcast too.
Shout out, maybe we can get Johnny on one week.
Yeah, dude.
I'm sure
that'd be tight. That'd be sick. Let's you want to get into the
let's go to defense.
Dirty Birds. Let's
go to defense.
We were just on.
Let's go to not the defense, the schedule. Let's go through the schedule.
Okay.
That's right.
Good. Yeah, let's go through the schedule. Let's try to see what their record is this year.
Baby, we know
that's a rough one. Week 1.
Week 1, they host the Cleveland Browns. So how do you guys feel about that as like kind of like or what do you think for like, oh, look at the ticket price on that. It's $115.
That's what I mean. The most expensive by far.
Yeah, that's one that people are going to want to see. There's going to be a lot of support for Baker. there. I think right now it's gonna be Cleveland versus the world. I think everybody except for Cleveland Browns fans are gonna be rooting
That's
for.
Fine. We're not losing that game.
I love
There's no way that Kevin lets it happen.
Nope, not happening, bro. Jacoby Brissett, like,
oh come on,
is a game
Jacoby
manager.
Brissett,
he's fine. He's fine.
A game manager, bro. Look at his career stats. Like, he's a game manager. Like, he's
Are
not
you a Brissett truther, bro?
Bro, I've been a Brissett guy since we picked him up in fantasy like 3 years ago when he was a Colt. So I'm about it. I mean, I think, dude, honestly, I think they can go. So what if Deshaun is gone 6 games and they don't fucking push it and make it more? I think that so when does their first game would be
week 7 with him.
We're kind of getting into Cleveland now, which you don't need to, but I do think that I think they can go at least 3-3, 4-2 with Jacoby.
I can't imagine an offensive system where Jacoby Brissett throws the ball in the red zone.
Good thing he doesn't have to,
because
we
have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Yeah, exactly.
And a badass offensive line. I mean, we're going to be just fine, especially against Carolina. Carolina does have a nice defense, but we'll wear them down.
Yeah, so it looks like they've got a. It's kind of. I mean,
they have a winnable schedule to start out.
Very winnable, yeah, but it kind of gets rough in the middle. San Fran, LA, Tampa, and then Atlanta. Atlanta sucks, but then you go Cincinnati and then back to Atlanta. It's not bad. I mean, it's
4 or 5 wins.
4 or 5 wins.
I think that'd be a win for this roster.
Go down a little bit. Who they got? The Saints the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it time to be determined? Okay. Yeah. I mean, if Baker stays healthy, I think they could have a semi-decent year, but I think they're probably still pretty terrible.
Yeah. I think it's probably time to have a Baker conversation. What do we think he's actually going to give us this year? I'm projecting like 20-ish quarterback in the league again, just like he was for us. Not expecting anything big, but serviceable as an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, and I do think I'll give him the opportunity to the benefit of the doubt that I think he could be better than he was last year. I think he can definitely improve a little bit. Without wearing the sling and, not having, not wearing the sling, not doing, having the injury. I mean, he's never going to be a world beater, but I do think that he will be. Matt Rule is going to be the first coach fired. I'm just going to put that out there. I think Matt Rule is going to be the first coach fired of the year. So I don't. It all depends on I think that he's going to play a big part in that. I mean, it depends. Now, if Baker, I don't know. I mean, I think he's better than Sam Darnold. I think he's better than the other fucking 4 guys they've got on the line on the roster. So I do think he's going to start, and I think he'll be all right. But I don't know. We'll see.
Baker he can be a starter in the NFL. Is he going to be the top 10 guy? No, but he's a starting quarterback. But Sam Darnold, after this, he is going to be relegated to career backup. This is it for him.
I think what I would really fear if I was Team Baker is that if he gets injured, at any point early in the season and they really don't get to see a good look of him. And, it's one of those things where, I mean, I'm not saying that he's washed up or even he's a burnout. I mean, he's not bust yet. I think he still has some time before it's going to be all said and done. But I think the time starts to really, the hourglass starts to really speed up on Baker Mayfield. And I think, Panthers aren't married to this. This isn't a draft pick. They went out and, I mean, they did trade for him and, make that what you will.
4th rounder?
Yeah, I think. So it's just like, if Baker, this is kind of his time, he really needs to, especially now he's not getting the endorsement deals from Progressive or anything like that. He needs to really step up his game if he wants to continue being in the NFL, because there's a ton of dudes coming up the pipeline. Next year's NFL draft is supposed to be really deep, and it's supposed to be way better at quarterback position. And, I just can't imagine that, people are going to take too much more stock in Baker Mayfield with all the injuries, all the inconsistency. Yeah, he's accurate, but what's accuracy if you can't do it consistently? It's not worth shit. So
I don't know if I mean, I guess you can call him I hate to say bust, because I wouldn't consider him a bust. Like I even if he's the first overall pick, or was he the first overall pick?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that, obviously you want way more than him, but I mean, the guy, has led a franchise.
He
beat the Pittsburgh Steelers at home in a fucking playoff game for a franchise that hasn't been in the playoffs in fucking 20 years. So so it's, to me, it's like he, when healthy, I mean, he's had good years. I mean, like I said, he's not ever going to be a world beater. But I think that when healthy, he deserves the benefit of the doubt. We haven't seen him healthy. I don't think he's going to go out there and make the Carolina Panthers a playoff team. But I do think that he is going to make some throws that other quarterbacks can't make on this team. And I think he's going to hit, I said earlier, he's going to probably underthrow some balls. We've seen it. I mean, Jesus Christ, he does it for a living. But he is going to hit Robbie Anderson on some of these deep balls. He's going to hit some DJ Moore. I mean, DJ Moore is a talented guy. And we talked about this earlier where DJ Moore has been quarterback proof. It does not matter who the fuck's been there. He is. It's like Terry McLaurin. You and I were talking about this earlier. He finds a way to get open. He is so good at running routes that like he is going to find a way to get open. So we'll see. I mean, I do think it's an upgrade, but this is what you asked for, Baker. So now you're fucking climbing from the bottom.
The unfortunate thing with Baker is that for him to be more successful in the league than he has been, because you're exactly right. He's had good, potentially great years, depending on how you look at the metrics of the year that he had 2 years ago. He really needs to become a game manager, Jimmy Garoppolo style, where he's making better decisions and he's not forcing the ball. If he can beat the mental game that he has going on with him, he very well could easily be, that 18 to 22 quarterback in the league and have a nice long career. I don't know if that's going to happen, obviously, but that's what I think he needs to,
And I was also thinking, if you really think of like the bigger scope also of the NFC South, like with this schedule this year, with them being paired up with the NFC West and they have to play each of those teams, like they do play a couple NFC East teams. We don't play everybody, but they play everybody in the NFC West. And, when you have to play the Rams, the 49ers and, the Cardinals, and I don't know if they do. Yeah, they do play Seattle too. So, I mean, Seattle's not good anymore, but those other three teams, those are going to be hard games for them to win. And that's,
absolutely.
For that whole division, it's just going to be, I think the NFC West is going to have a cake day with a lot of these teams. It's going to be, not going to be good for their records. I think you're going to see one good team out of this division, and it's probably the one with the fucking geriatric quarterback.
All right, so I guess that moving on, if we're gonna talk about who I think the worst fucking team in this division is, in my opinion, you said you think that the Carolina Panthers are going to be the worst. Andrew, I don't know about that. I think Atlanta's by far going to be the fucking worst team in this division. They've got Marcus Mariota at quarterback. This team is going to look so different for the first time in, I don't know how long, 10 years.
Enjoy the rebuild. Here it comes.
I mean, this is this is what happens when you go all in for a guy like, Deshaun Watson. This is what happens to, teams that go after you. This is the downside to that, when you don't get a guy that you kind of sell out for, and kind of burn a bridge with a guy that's been there for 10 plus years, and Matt Ryan, who has, spent his whole career there. And now Matt Ryan is gone. He's in Indy. We talked about it last week. They bring in fucking future Hall of Famer Marcus Mariota to run the show.
Excuse me.
And they draft, clearly I'm kidding. And they draft Desmond Ridder, who, this was a very weak quarterback class for me. Kenny Pickett, everybody thinks Kenny Pickett's the man, and he's looking like he's never played football in his life.
He looks like the QB3 on a shit team. So.
Yeah, he sure does. But this, they've still got some offensive players. Kyle Pitts quietly had one of the best rookie tight end seasons in the history of the NFL. The guy is a savage, and the guy can run routes. He's just like the new age of tight end. He can kind of do it all. Drake London's got a lot of hype behind him. Good draft pick, rookie this year. And then, of course, Cordell Patterson, who Pepper and I had him in fantasy last year in one of our leagues. The guy is just, he came out of nowhere. Cordell Patterson was kind of a joke to a lot of people. And then he just decides he wants to be like this dual threat of all dual threats in the NFL. And he has a career year. So
and it's also, it just kind of proves with Arthur Smith, who's the new head coach. He was there last year, but he's always done that with his running backs and his offense, is just like make them the centerpiece of the offense. And it's like, who would have thought that Cordell Patterson of all people could take a role.
Shit.
And you know what's like, I mean, say what you will. Obviously, the Falcons had a rough year last year, but like he was a shining star in a sea of shit. Like he played his ass off. He tried. He was out there putting up good stats, and like Nick said, like he was definitely undervalued in fantasy last year. He was definitely one of those guys that everybody was like, where the fuck did he come from? Because he had always been like a special teamer with the Chicago Bears, and he wasn't really like any kind of centerpiece, but he's a cool story. I hate the Falcons, but he's was definitely like one of the better parts. And they also have that new running back that they drafted, Tyler Algier, who Cordell Patterson, he's a decent running back, but he's also good at pass catching. So you might see more Damian Williams this year. And, I think it could be anybody's backfield really, because, who knows with how few other offensive weapons they have. They might be rolling Cordell out as a receiver on some, plays, just to kind of keep our defense on their toes. So
they're going to have to
bubble screen.
And Arthur Smith is a great coach, former Tennessee Titans head coach. He's, he led them to the playoffs and had wins over Bill Belichick or as the offensive coordinator. I mean, sorry, not as the head coach. He was the coordinator. Sorry, but he's a really good coach, and I think it's crazy. They gave him the keys to the city the keys to the franchise, and he's kind of getting the chance to run with it. So this is year 2. Now we got Marcus back in the fold, and what do we think about Marcus? Like last year in Oakland, in brief stints, he looked like a way better player than when he was ever like behind the helm at Tennessee. So did you guys ever see Marcus last year play at all?
Yeah, we saw him, but I thought it was just Marcus Mariota, where in Tennessee, he had flashes of brilliance, and he's a smart quarterback. But he's serviceable. He doesn't have to be the world beater. He doesn't have to be the guy. He needs to be a guy.
Well, I mean, they're giving him the role of the guy, so he has to kind of be the guy, right? Don't you think?
They're waiting.
Or is he kind of just keeping the seat warm and hoping that Desmond Ridder kind of pops? Because I mean,
which I think he will.
Are you guys big Desmond Ridder guys?
I like Desmond Ridder.
Okay.
I think the Malik Willis to me is the only quarterback that I think's got. I think he's got the most promise out of any quarterback.
I liked when Ridder did it at Cincy. So
yeah,
I believe in him. I think he could be a quarterback in a starting quarterback in a couple of years, and getting to sit behind a veteran like Marcus Mariota. He won a playoff game. He knows how to win.
I want to know who Felipe Franks is.
It's a great name,
dude. That guy is. That's sick. So
I have heard. I was gonna say I have heard some rumors that Tyler Algier might be getting the starting role at running back here and moving Patterson out to kind of like that wide receiver slot guy, which I think heard is perfect.
That too. Me too. Because Damian Williams was added he's listed as the number 2, but like I feel like he's more depth, and I feel like 100%. That once we really get through preseason and we get the ball rolling here, I do think Tyler Algier will be.
I don't know if you guys have seen some Drake London camp highlights, but if you haven't, you need to go and YouTube that. You really should. The man is what they drafted.
It was good. Yeah, it looks really good.
And on tape, really, like wide receiver cores, I mean, it's not great. Bryan Edwards is definitely has not panned out in his career thus far. But on Tate's nice backup.
You were a Bryan Edwards guy a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I remember that. You're like, bro, he's gonna be something. And
it was so great, dude. He had the greatest position. Like literally, it was all set up for him. All he had to do was make a decent route and catch the ball. He couldn't do either.
He couldn't do it.
But now he's catching from Mariota, and I give Marcus Mariota a lot of probably unneeded grief, but he is a serviceable quarterback. I think he's going to be fine. Atlanta's going to be the bottom of the division. I like to make spicy picks with Panthers, but this is going to be the bottom of the division.
I personally think they're going to surprise people. I think they will. Last year they were 7-8 or 7-10. I think they'll improve the record this year.
Oh, you're out of your fucking mind.
He's so optimistic.
Baby. Let's go. Let's go, dude. No way.
We need to find a way to bet. Like
this is the guy who told us last week the Jaguars were going 500.
Yeah.
Mr. Optimism.
That's right. I forgot about that.
You've still got the hot take of the fucking century, which I have brought up multiple times.
Yeah, dude.
People. I'm like Jeffrey Simmons being a better player currently than Aaron Donald. I haven't.
I checked out the stats afterwards, and they didn't add up.
Yeah,
Aaron's probably in the closet right now.
I didn't.
I thought it was closer.
I
thought it was closer. It turns out I just went to a lot of Titans game last year, and I was very drunk at every one of those games.
Dude,
Simmons is good, right? Like we're not saying he's not good.
He's a
very talented player.
And I get it, but it was just something that rolled off the tongue, and it sounded nice, and you guys got a great reaction. No, dude, I looked into the stats. It wasn't even close like last year.
Dude, all week I'm like, bro,
it was close if you counted Aaron Donald's left hand. If you only counted his left hand, it was pretty close. But.
Yeah, Aaron Donald is like literally top 10 players maybe of all time, like ever to play football.
Probably.
He's that good.
Is my hot take going to be that the Falcons finished the season better than the Panthers?
No, you just better than their record last year. That's what you said.
Yeah,
you said they're proven.
I would say
7?
8 wins. 8 wins.
Is that what they have
start
last year?
recording
They
these.
even have 7 wins.
See, I'm thinking he's going, dude. I give him 5 wins tops.
Yeah, let's talk about the defense, and then we can get into the schedule.
And they actually just tried to trade their guy on defense, Deion Jones, and they couldn't trade him. I saw. I don't know what that is, guys.
He's hurt.
Is he hurt?
Yeah,
well, that's what happens when you steal him right out from right underneath me in Dynasty. It is what it is. Let's click the tab, Andrew. Are we there?
Yeah.
Where are we at? No, there. Deion Jones. What's he out with? Shoulder.
Yeah, shoulder.
Ouch.
From what I understand, he's out this season.
When you've got a beanie on in your photo and you're not smiling, you fucked some shit up. Yeah. It's like
he's a bad motherfucker.
He's like Brian Dawkins. He's like taking souls with him with that fucking picture.
So me and my buddy Jake have always said, like, Mohamed Sanu, we've always noticed that he only balls if he has a fucking do-rag on pregame, put your money on Mohamed Sanu. He's catching one.
Prop.
It's ridiculous, and it's the same thing. We call him do-rag Sanu. It's unbelievable. But same thing with Deion Jones. I didn't even know who he was last year when I had told you. So little side story last year, I was like, man, I'm really going after Deion Jones, or I really got my eye on Deion Jones. Andrew apparently forgot we had that conversation, and a day and a half later, he picks up Deion Jones because I was like, I'm not putting in a waiver for him because I don't think anybody else is going for him. And then he's the only person that puts $1 on it. I'm like, dude, you're a piece of shit.
Damn right.
But I didn't even know who he was, but I clicked on him. And I'm like, oh, beanie, fucking add to cart. And he performed it for Andrew all year last year. Kai's a stud. Nice. Yeah. I mean, I was happy for you after I got over it.
Yeah,
Rashaan Evans is a really good other linebacker as well, former Titan. So he's played under a similar system, I'm sure, of what they're going to try to implement.
AJ
but other than that,
one of the best corners in the league today, right there.
I really like AJ Terrell.
You're still running with the young ho as your kicker, so that's pretty cool.
The god.
At least we get to see him on
until Cade York. Until Cade York takes over. Cade York is about to be the Evan McPherson of this year. So everybody watch out. Everybody talked all that shit about drafting a kicker, or the Bengals drafting a kicker, and now the Browns said, let's go do it. And the kid hasn't missed in camp yet, so it is what it is.
That's fair.
But Young Ho is the man. Fucking love the guy. I remember I've been riding with him since he was a Charger, and he got cut by the Chargers back in the day because he kept missing kicks. And then all of a sudden he like makes this resurgence, and now he's like one of the best kickers in the league because he killed it last year, right?
Yeah. Not mistaken.
He was like the bright spot for them besides Cordell Patterson.
Really, on paper, this is another defense that isn't as bad as I thought going in. I was kind of surprised when I looked at this roster, and I was like, you got Casey Hayward, you got AJ Terrell, you had Deion Jones, he might be hurt, but still, Rashaan Evans, really.
Go ahead and pronounce that. Go ahead and pronounce that second string WLB.
No.
Okay.
He goes
Adetokunbo
Agundeji.
Oh, that was no.
I looked at it. Yeah, no.
Dude, the biggest thing.
Smoke Monday.
Falcons let their Pro Bowl long snapper walk.
Who?
It was Josh Harris.
Josh.
Josh Harris,
he's a snapping dude.
Fucking love Josh.
How do you get rid of Josh?
He signed a fat long snapper contract with the Chargers.
Like, how do you grade that though?
Does that change your Does that change your hot take, Stuart? They lost Josh. I mean,
they lost Josh. I like their Madden overall went down 5 points when Josh left.
Yeah, you sure they're going to go 500 without Josh?
I like long.
Yeah, let's look at the league. Or the schedule. Okay. Okay. So divisional matchup right off the bat, which we are all going to be in agreement here. This is going to be a shellacking, correct?
We got our cheapest ticket at $23 versus the Carolina Panthers.
Holy shit.
That might be their first winnable game, to be honest
with
you.
So, Stuart, you missed it when we went through the I think you were gone when we went through the Panthers. All the Panthers games were cheap as shit, and then week 1 was $113 a ticket. Like the Browns game was by far the most expensive one.
Oh, I bet.
All the Baker bros, dude.
Prime time, dude.
But yeah, so the divisional matchup to start. I mean, the Saints right off the bat, we're gonna see Jameis Winston, big old Jimbo, Winston, crab leg Winston come out and fucking just. I mean, I think he's going to have a year, which we'll get into here in a minute. But I think that this is a bad start for the Atlanta Falcons. I think they go. I mean, obviously 0-2, probably
might beat Seattle.
Maybe beat Seattle. You're losing to Cleveland. You're losing to Big Beefy. Okay.
Yeah. If you don't beat Seattle, you're not winning. You don't have a chance to win until week 8, in my opinion.
And
straight. You're absolutely right. Dude, I'm laughing my ass off. Yeah.
Like you literally might be 0-8.
And sincerely, like it could be the bye week, and they might be 0-13.
There have been multiple people trying to hype Drew Lock. Like they're like, bro, Drew Lock's been putting on a clinic. I'm like, stop.
All right, calm down.
Stop.
Calm down.
Everybody knows this is a Geno podcast anyway. So
yeah, seriously, this is
five winnable games before the bye week.
What?
Okay, Mr. Optimistic over here.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So you're gonna say Seattle, the Bull, and 2 Carolinas. What are the other ones?
I say surprise win week 1.
Oh,
yes. Okay. Surprise win. New Orleans will be fine, but surprise upset week 1.
Dude,
did Marcus Mariota play for New Orleans for a second?
No.
Am I just fucking imagining things?
He may.
Was he a backup for like a quick second?
He may have been practice squatted or something.
Okay, yeah, I might be wrong, but okay, Stuart, keep going.
Keep going. Seattle.
Oh, okay, I can agree with you on that one. I do think they're going to beat Seattle. I'll give you that.
They're going to beat Carolina twice.
They're going to beat Baker twice.
Carolina,
whoever the fuck starts in Carolina.
Fucking PJ Walker.
PJ.
Fucking PJ.
And then
Walker.
I don't know. One of those, either Washington or Chicago, one of those is winnable.
Okay. Yeah. Washington, Chicago. Okay. I would probably say Washington. I think Chicago. I mean, their offense is still atrocious, and they're
Washington's defense is beastly. So I'll say maybe Chicago.
At least they finally have a head coach out there in Chicago.
I did read that N'Keal Harry was standing in the wide open in the back of the end zone today, and what's his face missed him. Yeah, Justin Fields just completely missed him. So sick. And no, Mariota did not play for them.
Yeah,
I'm just
I was getting ready to say that too.
Imagining shit, but yeah, I mean, dude, if they come out and beat the Saints, that'd be wild. I mean, I just think the Saints are, because here's the thing I read. Should we just go into the Saints? Is that where we're going next?
Yeah.
I mean, let's just kind of move into the Saints. Okay, so we're looking at this. So that we're going to the Saints. Jack's favorite team.
Hell yeah.
Back-to-back weeks we're covering Jack's teams. But I read today, so Alvin's thing is, I guess in the last day or so, his court dates got pushed back another 60 days. So they're saying that he might not have anything until 2023, which if he, or even if he does, he might play week 1. If they play week 1 and they go and they're healthy, I think that this Saints team is going to, I mean, if Michael Thomas is back, you've got Jarvis. I don't know if you've seen Michael Thomas in camp, but the guy looks ridiculous. You've got Chris Olave, you've got got Alvin, Marquise Callaway, that's Jack's boy.
Yeah.
That's Traquan Smith.
Traquan Smith is my guy.
Jack has been waiting, dude, for years.
I'm a truther.
He always has like 3 plays a year where they're like just 70-yarder house calls and everything.
Just enough to keep him on my dynasty fucking
just
bench.
to keep him there.
Just one day he's gonna have like a moment in Limitless where like a part of his brain unlocks and he's just gonna be like, "Oh shit, I'm really good at football."
Holy fuck! I've literally got. I've got all the tools.
I'd be a 1,300-yard receiver. No,
dude, he's got wheels.
So, let's get into it. Michael Thomas. Everybody forgets. Nobody forgets. You can't guard Mike. You can't guard him. He's 100 receptions 2 years ago. Hasn't played in a year and a half. If he's even, 80, 90% of what he was before the injury, I like him in this offense.
Yeah, you got a guy who's going to just be airmailing it to him.
Yeah, and you know what? Okay, well, let's get into Jameis Winston. You brought him up. He's a guy who has history when he was on the Bucs of feeding multiple 1,000-yard receivers. He did it with Mike Evans and fucking Godwin, and he can do it with Kamara. Pretty much. Kamara does take a lot of those receptions away, but he could probably do it with Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry. Get them close to 1,000 at least. And Chris Olave, have you guys seen him at training camp? Holy shit. This kid's a fucking burner. He's gonna be really good in this system. Speaking of this system, new head coach, bye Coach Sean Payton, and hello, new head coach Dennis Allen, former coordinator for our New Orleans Saints. He was the defensive coordinator because, as everybody knows, Sean Payton made the offensive calls, and having the offensive coordinator job for the last 15 years has basically been cash a fucking $500,000 check a year and sit your ass on the bench and don't say shit. But we got a new head coach, Dennis Allen. He was the former head coach of a really, really bad back then Oakland Raiders team. He was their head coach. He was their coach from 2012 to 2014. He was let go when he lost, I think, the first 4 games of the 2014 season, and came to the Saints, where he actually had originally started. But talk about the additions of this Saints team in the offseason. I like a lot of them. Obviously, Jarvis Landry, pretty great wide receiver. Another LSU guy coming home with Jarvis is Tyron Matthew on the defensive side of the ball. So obviously we got a lot of Dalton. Dalton and the fiery redhead.
Oh, but I forgot you got the Red Rocket. But yeah,
we did have a huge loss on the offensive side of the ball. I'm not going to act like it's not a glaring weakness. We lost Tyron Armstead, who is one of the better offensive tackles. I think he signed in Miami, if I'm not mistaken.
God, Miami always picks up these guys, and it never happens for them. But he retired, and Malcolm Jenkins retired. Tyron Armstead. Malcolm Jenkins is my guy.
Yeah. Malcolm Jenkins retired. He was on the defensive side of the ball though, but he retired, and then we lost Quan Alexander on the defense. So obviously a lot of changes. Ian Book is a third string quarterback who I like way more than Andy Dalton. I don't know why we went out and decided to get Andy Dalton. That's for another day. But like Nick said, I do like Marquez Callaway. He had some moments last year. So I mean, him as your 4th wide receiver, like, this team is like the anti-Tennessee Titans. Like, they are completely set up to have an air raid offense, like 24/7. They got 3 guys who, if they played and got the targets of a wide receiver 1, could be elite guys in the league, But yeah,
I really like their.
Yeah, go ahead.
I like their running. I was gonna say I really like their running backs too. I like that they, I like obviously the Kamara, but I like bringing Mark Ingram back, and I like kind of rounding that out again. What Malcolm Brown's nice. Tony Jones, he just keeps getting buried. Deep. But yeah, they it's nice depth there. I mean, they're solid everywhere. I mean, this is
our fourth string wide receiver, Rashid Shaheed.
Rashid Shaheed. Well, you guys, that's not even the coolest name. We had found out fucking 5 seconds before we got onto this podcast that there is a rookie for the New Orleans Saints who just had maybe a season-ending injury. I don't know. They say it's definitely a bad one. Undrafted from out of Auburn. His name is Smoke Monday. Smoke Monday. He's a safety.
Fucking right.
I mean, the best. That is the best name in the NFL.
Dude, the Saints are an all-name team, dude. They got Taco Charlton too.
Dude, you have Cowboys legend Taco Charlton.
Yeah, Cowboy, dude. Cowboys.
We got some great names on our team for sure. There's no doubt.
Calvin
Throckmorton, dude. Come on. Tell me you don't want to
Sage Doxtator. Dude, you guys got the whole fucking Forest Lamp.
Nobody is going to beat the Saints in names this year. There's going to be some great names.
I think the biggest problem with this team is the lack of offensive line talent. I know that you just drafted the rookie, but
it's thin.
You have a lot of holes. You don't have a lot of guys with a lot of experience.
Well, what are you talking about? I mean, you got Ryan Ramczyk, who's really great. You got Cesar Ruiz, who's a second-year player. Eric McCoy, who was awful as a
first-year player.
Yeah, true. But I mean,
Ryan is good.
The left side looks weak. That's for sure.
Yeah, the left side's weak. The right side's strong.
I mean, I'm going to put this around 15 to 20 best offensive lines maybe in the league.
Oh yeah, no, but I thought you were making the case that they were like a bottom 5.
No, but the problem is you have, of course, Tampa, who we'll get to later in the division, and you're going to have to compete with them, and you're not going to be able to stop them coming at you.
Well, the whole thing about what the Saints I think are going to be building towards, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're going to be trying to spread out at the line and. Alvin Kamara is the ultimate kind of difference maker. And if he can kind of not, miss the first tackle, get to the line of scrimmage and catch the ball or run to the, he makes a lot of problems for the defense trying to stop him.
Absolutely.
And he can absolve a lot of the sins of having a shitty offensive line.
Absolutely. You have different things. If you look at this roster and you think of who the head coach should be, I feel like it's got to be an offensive minded guru. And it's not. Right? Like you have different.
True.
There's too many. There's a lot of things going on here, and I don't know how it's going to shake out. Obviously, as far as skill positions, they're probably the most talented in the division. I think I would say that.
Maybe I don't know.
Tampa's close.
Tampa's got spoiled.
They just signed Julio Jones. Yeah. Fucking for their third receiver. Kyle Rudolph.
It's at least a discussion.
There's an argument, sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, they're clearly top 1 or 2 in this division. I mean,
they definitely have one of the nicer wide receiver rooms, and I would, as a if you were a Titans fan, you'd be like, drooling.
Dude, you're talking to 3 Browns fans here who wanted nothing more than for Juice to come back to Cleveland. I mean, he looks great in his new colors. I think I even shared it on our Twitter not long ago, or maybe Instagram. He looks great in his Saints outfit. I love it. I love the photo shoot he took where he had the LSU helmets next to him, and he had a Saints outfit on. I thought that was cool. A little weird that he just posted that picture on Instagram where he's fucking cupping. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he has doing the cupping therapy, and everybody's clowning him right now because he literally has 300 of them on. Like, what the fuck was that?
It looks like he's being milked.
Dude, he literally looks like he's getting. Dude, have you seen the picture, Stuart?
No.
We'll just look it up later. It's there's like cupping and like therapy, therapeutic relief and shit. Like, and I'm sure advantage to this, but you're looking at this, and you're like, bro, what the fuck is going on?
He was like plugged into the Matrix. He had so much shit on.
He's got there's more skin in the bubble on his probably than not. I mean, like it's wild. But anyway, great receiver. Legend of the game. I mean, I like I said, I hate that he's not a Cleveland Brown. I think he would have fit so perfectly in this offense that we got now.
Could it be Kevin White season?
Well, and I think Adam Troutman. I was going to ask you about Adam Troutman. So, what do you think about? I think last year he was kind of a letdown. He was injured. I feel like that's what I'm saying. But I think he has promise though. Like there was all that hype around him.
Yeah, I mean Adam Troutman. When he's healthy, he can be effective. Also, you have to think about our quarterback situation last year, and when Jameis went down, the whole offense kind of just fell apart. you know,
so what are they going to do with Tate? Are they going to run Taysom as a tight end? Like, what is their plan with now that we know that Jameis is the quarterback? Are they going to still do like these little weird fucking packages that aren't effective where he comes in and you know he's going to run the ball, or is he going to like line up at tight end like he is here?
Bring back the wild.
I think that was Sean Payton.
I don't know if Taysom Hill has that same connection with the new coordinator because he was the defensive coordinator. So but that's the GM's problem, not his. And,
well, no, for sure. I'm just saying, like, it's just one of those things.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I'm just saying it's just like if you're the head coach,
Shy Tuttle, dude, you guys are fucking the shit. Like I saw another guy go. I saw this guy right here, the number 2, the second left defensive end, Tano Kapaka Saganan. Yeah, dude, you're fucking on it. I love it.
All-time team name.
Shy Tuttle might be.
No,
Shy Tuttle's good.
Kent Tavius Street.
Kent Tavius Street. But Smoke Monday. Smoke Monday's the shit. If I ever like decide I want to buy a Saints shirt, they probably don't even make a Smoke Monday shirt, but I will make a Smoke Monday shirt.
He's gonna make the team first.
But another big comeback on the special teams, Big Nuts Will Lutz is finally back into the fold.
Nuts
had a season off last year with injury, and one of the better kickers in the game. I think everybody kind of has a short memory when it comes to kickers, but that's kind of a name you remember. He's Will with one L. He gives the L to the other team. He is one of the better kickers in the league.
Did you just make that up?
No, that's his thing.
I love that. That's fucking sick, actually. Yeah. That's really good. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Big Nuts Will Lutz. I only have one L because I give the other one to the other team. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so he's finally back in the fold. He's a really good kicker, so I'm happy to see him back. A lot of guys coming back on the defense, and obviously we talked about Tyron Matthew, who is him and Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, just whatever side of the field they're on together, if it ever happens, like, don't throw the ball there because you're not getting it back. Like, it's going the other fucking way. Like, two dudes who are at the top of their game is DBs,
ball hawks.
These are two guys that I would not want to be matched up against with my top wide receivers.
Yeah.
So
can we let's go to the schedule real quick before you move on?
Yeah, let's plot out I haven't even really gotten too deep into this yet, and I haven't really thought about what kind of record they did. Did we ever decide what we kind of all felt like the Falcons and the Panthers records were going to be?
I think so for the Panthers. Dude, honestly,
I think 3 or 4.
I think 5. I think 4 or 5 wins are my top. 5 wins is my top for both those teams. Put it there.
Yeah, I think that's kind of.
I think 3 or 4
5, both. I think 6 wins.
No, I'll give 6 for the Panthers, 5 for Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you. All right, so let's get into these Saints. So we start off at Atlanta, week 1. This is the game that Stewart thinks the Saints lose. I don't know. Historically, we've been pretty good against Atlanta, but new quarterback. So
Atlanta at home.
Yeah. Atlanta at home. Yeah, but
they're
we've been pretty good.
Dome.
Let's look at the cheapest ticket this year.
It's 35 here.
Arizona
34 against Cleveland.
That's in Arizona though.
I'm
talking
Carolina.
We're talking the last game of the year versus Carolina.
That's actually kind of wild. That I'm sure those tickets are going to go up.
Yeah. Carolina has all the cheapest tickets. Nobody wants to come see Carolina. I guess their fans don't travel well. But no, this is a Saints. This is a Saints team that's probably going to start off like 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, probably. I don't know. This is a 500 team in my eyes until unless the offense says different, and it also kind of hinges on the Alvin Kamara suspension and what that looks like and the timing of that. If the timing is the first 6 weeks, I think I like the Saints to do better. I think if it comes sometime where it's like unknown and it's like they drop a suspension in relation to some, whether it be like a court hearing or something that coincides with that timing, I think it would be really detrimental for the Saints season. But this is a team that I don't think anybody thinks is going to win the division. I think everybody kind of thinks that a lot of people think they're going to be the second place team. I kind of see the upside for this season as a kind of Saints make the wild card. And, I think the only issue I could really see with them getting and achieving that would probably be obviously the issues I just mentioned, but also the fact that this conference is really fucking good this year with the NFC West. And we'll get into it eventually, but I think, a lot of those teams are going to be taking up a lot of playoff spots. And so it starts to get crowded and you start to try to figure out where does my team fit into this? And, it's not going to be, I can't imagine I can see them beating Tampa, but I can't see them beating Tampa in the division for an overall record.
Yeah, well,
I like it.
Yeah, I think if I had to say, I would give them. I think that I agree with you. I think they're probably a 500 team. I could see them go. Yeah, I can see them win 9 games top.
Yeah,
9-8,
a 9-8 team.
Yeah, 9-8 team. But yeah, so moving on, we got one team left in the division, which I think is obviously the favorite for the division. You got the GOAT, Tom Brady, run the show. I mean, they've just been a powerhouse since they got there. We're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Playoff Fat Boy Lenny, who has showed up who is actually sick of the weight talk. He told everybody today to check. Somebody check the numbers or something like that. Or he's big gened is what he said today. But I mean, they're stacked. They got there's a lot of talk of this Rashaan White. I've heard is actually going to get a lot of work coming out of the backfield this year. He's a guy to keep an eye on. They have Mike Evans. They just bring in Julio, Chris Godwin coming back from his injury. They're kind of easing him back in, so I don't know exactly when. They say he's going to be ready for the season, but that he's one of those guys that they just signed, and
we'll see.
He's injury prone, and I hate to call a guy that or label anybody that, but he
definitely is.
It is what it is.
They signed him. They still gave him the deal.
Well, the whole thing too is that it's contrasted by the other guy who is lined up next to him, Mike Evans, who is constantly like game time decision. He's like the best and worst player in fantasy to own because he obviously when he plays, he doesn't miss a lot of games. It's just that you don't know. You don't know up until the last minute, and you can't play him like
his little nagging injuries.
You can't if Tampa's playing at fucking 3:00. You got to decide if you're going to start that guy that is going to play or if you're going to start Mike Evans. So
right. Well, the other thing about their receivers are they're so deep. Like I saw somebody talking about this the other day. Where like you look at some of the names. I mean, Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, Russell Gage. Those are the guys that are going to start. They're going to get playing.
Miller.
But then you got Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller. These
Rashad Perriman.
Rashad Perriman. One of those 3 guys are probably going to get cut. And that's they were talking about this the other day. The Browns, I'm looking at you. I would take Scotty Miller or Tyler Johnson, bring him in. Mm-hmm. Tyler Johnson was actually a Bleacher Report trade option for the Browns the other day. But they've got so many people. They got Cameron Brate, Kyle Rudolph. I mean, you get Gronk to retire again, but you go out and you get Cameron Brate's been there, but Kyle Rudolph's a damn good replacement. Good.
That's a pretty good tight end set too. Like, in terms of like a tight end duo, Cameron Brate and Rudolph. Like you got Rudolph, the red zone reindeer who can catch balls, and Cameron Brate's been pretty good at blocking. So
good offensive line. Tristan Wirfs is a stud.
Well, they just lost Ryan Jensen.
Yeah, I was going to say
huge loss.
100%.
Huge loss.
And
they say that JC Treader, he's gone for the year. Ryan Jensen's probably gone for the year.
Yeah,
they're saying JC Treader is I don't think it's official, but they're saying that's who's more than likely going to take his spot. And if JC Treader steps in there, then
I was expecting Hainsey that they were just going to let him earn the job.
No, they're talking about bringing in JT.
I think Treader is the man. So
I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Brady called in his like own center specialist. Like he's like, trade for this guy. I feel like I feel like Brady's still pulling all the weight for this franchise.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they're stacked, dude.
They're stacked. I mean, that's just the offense. I mean, you go down here to defense. Let's scroll down to defense. They've still got maybe the best linebacker in football, Devin White. Vita Vea on the tackle. You have Levante David, Shaquille Barrett. I mean, look at this team. You go down to basically
Antoine
every
Winfield,
single one of these junior.
Healthy Vita
Logan
Vea.
Ryan.
I think
Hicks,
well, Vita Veda, he missed a lot of time last year.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he healthy? Is he in camp right now?
Looks
He's
like
in camp, but I mean,
so I haven't really paid a lot of attention to Tampa because I feel like they're just one of those teams where like you just know that.
Yeah,
that's
what I think.
You're just
Carlton
Davis.
Davis.
Gonna be there. Akeem Hicks.
Gosh.
So where do you guys see like where could it go wrong for this team? Do you think?
Well,
do you think if Tom has an injury, this team's? Do you think that's immediate season ender for them, or do you
Blaine
think
Gabbert's the backup? If Tom goes down, this
Tom
team
goes down. That's it.
But
I think if Tom's
you're
there,
saying their whole season hinges on a 45-year-old quarterback.
Absolutely, because Tom Brady, to me, I don't think he hasn't really lost too much of a step, and we've seen what he does with people like Julio Jones when he gets an older veteran receiver like Antonio Brown, Randy Moss. He just he zones in on them, and he is going to, and he also knows that the shit that Julio's kind of gotten over the last couple of years, the Julio's never gotten a title. Like it's one of those things where, like, you got to think that Brady, being who Brady is going to take it upon himself to. He's going to put the ball in Julio's hands. He's going to give Julio the chance, and he wants to get Julio that title as long as
he broke as well Julio's heart.
Exactly.
Mend the wounds.
It's time to mend the wound.
This is all in addition to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, right?
That's
like
so
Julio Jones
gnarly.
is your third option, or Russell Gage is your third option.
You might have Scotty Miller running like a flat. Like
that's what I'm saying, dude. I don't.
So no more Bruce Arians now. They have a new head coach.
That's true. I don't think it affects it as much as it did.
Who is it? Todd Bowles?
Is it Todd?
Or not Todd Bowles? Is it Todd Bowles?
Yes.
Wait.
Right?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So new head coach. Is there going to be adjustments? Is there going to be hard? I don't think you really fuck around with the defense too much.
No, dude.
Here's the thing: you have to think about how much was he doing? Because here's the thing: Bruce Arians is a great coach, but you've heard all the whispers about him and Brady not having a good relationship and them kind of getting tired of each other. And you got to think that Brady runs the offense. That's almost for sure. You got to think that Brady runs the offense. Now you're seeing these things today coming out with the Miami Dolphins story coming out where Tom Brady was talking to the Dolphins about ownership up until 2021 while under contract with the Buccaneers, which means that things were not peachy in paradise, where he's winning, he's got his title, he's got everything he wants, but clearly there was such a rift between, and then the rumor after Bruce Arians goes that Brady basically forced him out, and it kind of validates all of that. I think the news coming out with today is that Brady has kind of kept his options open in the background as far as where he could go. So you get a coach. Yeah, he's a businessman. And then you get a coach who's been in the system. I don't think there's really going to be too much difference. I mean, it might be a little bit of adjustment, but it's not like you're bringing in a guy from the outside, guy that was in the system. They're just promoting him. A guy that Brady likes, was he the offensive coordinator? Was Bowles the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator?
Probably, I think.
The defense. So I don't know. I would think that Brady probably is just going to play Brady football. So we'll see. Yeah. What's the schedule looking like?
Yeah, pull that schedule up, Andrew.
Super Bowl right, suck up kicker. Oh, don't forget that one. Yeah.
Man, you're such a suck up to suck up. What's it? Okay, let's find the cheapest ticket. Let's find the cheapest ticket. Carolina so far? No?
Atlanta,
$62.
Coming in at $62. That's at Atlanta though.
On the beach. Yeah.
Jeez.
Man.
Dude, they don't really have.
Most expensive is Green Bay coming in week 3. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah, him versus Aaron. Oh, 400. Look at that's got to be wrong, right?
That's a hard. Okay, so let's just talk about the schedule real quick. Okay, so the Buccaneers are a really good team, right?
It's a 9:30 in the morning game. Is that in? That's probably in London.
Is it? It's on NFL, so maybe.
Seattle Bucks. I think are they a London game this year?
I have no idea.
Game played at neutral location.
So probably, or were they playing in Germany
or Mexico?
Is that the Germany? Is that the Germany game?
Could be.
So long story short, let's talk about this. I mean, like right out the gate, they're a good team, but what if they did lose to Dallas, right? On the road in Dallas, week 1. Then they lose They probably don't lose to New Orleans, but it is a division rival, and Tom Brady has not beaten New Orleans as a Buck except for once in the playoffs. So he's in Germany. So hypothetically, he's 0-2. 0-3 against Green Bay, 0-4 against Kansas City. They might not get their first win till week 5, hypothetically. Could you imagine the panic and shock in that locker room if they started off the season 0-4?
I don't think there'd be any.
They're definitely winning week 1. They're playing Dallas in Dallas.
In prime time.
I know it's easy. I know it's easy to say that, but I mean, Dak's pretty good. CeeDee Lamb's pretty good. Zeke's healthy.
They suck at home.
Well, they won't have Michael Gallup yet. They won't have so like it'll just be
no Amari Cooper.
So it's going to be kind of, and that's like week 1 with this offense. You just lost James Washington. They're going to lose that game. They're probably going to beat New Orleans. I'm sorry, but I mean that's definitely a game they could win or they could lose. Dude, I think they're gonna be fine. Even if they were 0-5 to start, Tom Brady's gonna have that locker room okay.
Do you remember week 1 last year when Green Bay lost that game to the Saints? Week 1, and everybody lost. Their Saints fucking smashed them. Smashed by 4 touchdowns or something.
Smashed,
and they were just fine.
Smash.
Yeah, exactly.
On paper, is this the hardest schedule in the league?
I don't know.
This is a tough schedule.
Yeah, they definitely gave them their.
There's only a couple of gimmies for sure. Atlanta, Carolina, Seattle,
LA, Baltimore. I mean, you're facing. Is it Baltimore at home?
Yeah, they'll play Baltimore at home.
Baltimore at home is rough. You have to go Cincinnati, Arizona. Yeah, this is
you have to be in Cleveland. Dog pound, baby.
This is
with Deshaun.
Yeah, with Deshaun back. Okay, I think this.
So they've got the Bucks have the.
They should have the hardest, right? Because they won.
No, they have the 7th easiest.
Easiest.
Ranked easiest to hardest.
Easiest.
They're 7.
Well, they get to play the Carolina Panthers twice, and they get to play the Falcons twice. And then
the hardest schedule is Kansas City this year, and then the Rams. Gotcha. But yeah, that game against Seattle is at Allianz State Arena in Munich. It's the home of the FC Bayern football.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
But yeah, so the easiest schedule is the Giants and the Eagles. Browns are right behind Tampa at 8.
Sweet.
I feel like you guys are alluding to some of these NFC East teams. We've talked about Dallas. Now we're talking about Philly. I think it might be safe to say we might need to be thinking about next week. And
yeah, I think we go back to AFC though. I think we got to go back and forth. Yeah, I think we go.
You got to flip. You got to.
I think we do. I think we got to go NFC.
You guys have so much
to talk.
Let's do AFC.
Yeah, let's do AFC East.
AFC East. Okay.
So we can then do NFC East after that.
We'll do AFC East and then we'll do NFC East for sure. I like that.
So
we're okay. Before we wrap up this week's previews, what are our win totals? What do we think? What are we putting here?
13, 12.
I was thinking 12. Yeah, I was thinking like 13, 14, dude. Honestly.
13. 13.
Tell me the losses.
I'll go 12.
I know.
I'll go 12 to be safe. 12, yeah.
They'll drop one to New Orleans. They'll drop to Green Bay.
With who's catching the ball in Green Bay?
That's dude. It's just
it's only 2.
They're gonna fuck up. They're gonna drop one.
I'm going 14.
Say LA.
Yeah, LA.
Nick just keeps going up every time he keeps looking at the schedule.
I just counted.
12,
I go 14.
14
wins. I go 14.
Tom, this is Tom's undefeated season.
Dude, he's winning 19 games.
Yes.
They're fucking adding a game. They're gonna add a game at the end just to see if he'll lose, and he's gonna fucking win that one too. It's just the fucking NFL All-Star team, and he beats them too.
Tom's gonna play on a Pro Bowl team and fucking win, and then go play the Super Bowl the next week.
They're gonna get to January.
My final prediction: 14 games. I'm with Stuart. I think 14.
I think 12 or 13.
I think they beat the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, I think they beat New Orleans both times. Cincinnati is a iffy game for me.
Okay, so Nick, you say they beat the Saints both times. That means you think that they go undefeated in the division?
I think they go undefeated in the division. I'll tell you this: if they do lose a game in the division, it'll be this Monday night game
versus New Orleans in New Orleans. Yeah.
Or no, that's in Tampa.
Scroll back.
It's in Tampa. Yeah, it's in Tampa. You're right.
Sunday.
Maybe not. Maybe it is week 2. I might be with you, Jack. If they're going to lose, it could be week 2.
Yeah.
In the dome.
Absolutely.
So.
See.
All right. Well, so that's it. So what is that? The NFC, what is that? It says the NFC South. So I mean, yeah, obviously this was an easy one. I mean, I feel like this was pretty you know, I mean, Tom Brady's going to wrap it up with that. But yeah, next week we'll jump on over to AFC East. That's going to be one that, that's going to be a good one. I think
we get to talk about Tua and his left-handed throwing.
The most accurate quarterback in football, baby.
Oh my God, dude! Those preseason videos of Tyreek with the loosest spiral of the entire world.
Unreal. Well, yeah. So we'll break those down like we did last week, and we'll get them all put on our YouTube channel so you guys can kind of go through. Hopefully, you watch the whole video, but we'll get them sectioned out for you just so it's a little easier because we know how you people are. We know how people are in general. But before we get out of here, there are a few other things going on in the last week that have been pretty big that we kind of want to touch on. We don't have a lot of time here, but we do want to talk. Stewart's pregnant. He got pregnant in Reno from some homeless guy in Reno. We haven't,
and he got the
monkeypox.
He also is tested positive for monkeypox.
We're hoping to God that we're hoping to God that
he shined something.
The children is born correctly because he is.
My helmet.
He's pocked up. But we've had an MLB deadline, trade deadline. We've had Deshaun news. We've had a lot of things. So let's just kind of touch on a few things. What do you want to start? What do you got up first, Sweetness?
Let's get the football out and then we'll transition over.
We're going right to our boy.
Okay, so Judge Sue Robinson finally comes out. It took forever. We get a 6-game suspension for Deshaun Watson for the allegations. A lot of people aren't happy about it. There's a lot of people that are happy about it. I know Cleveland fans are happy about it.
Some at least.
And I think a lot of people think, this is a tricky case. I mean, I read all 16 pages. I read it twice. I sat there and I read it thoroughly. To me, it sounds like Sue Robinson thinks Deshaun Watson was at least somewhat guilty. I mean, she literally found him guilty. I mean, she basically says that his pattern was egregious, and she said it was the most egregious that the NFL has ever.
And egregious was the word used.
Egregious was the word used. But she basically said that the NFL at the same time shouldn't have half-assed their CBA and all of these policies because it's so there's no elaboration in it. And if you're going by what is written in the rules, Deshaun Watson gets 6 games. And she's saying that she used, and if I don't know the exact words, but she actually used a quote that Roger Goodell used word for word in Deflategate, saying why he had to use that ruling. He basically said, I am bound by the findings, or whatever the quote was. She copied and pasted that in her ruling. Yep. It basically is like you wanted to use this as your advantage then, I'm going to use it to my advantage now. But she basically, said that they did that they were lazy and they basically wanted their whole argument was public perception and that they're trying to change the rules on the fly. They're saying, look, she even said, I agree that he may warrant further punishment, but that's not how it's written. And you guys just can't change the rules because it's like the Ray Rice thing. She even said this. She goes, they're attempting to do this with sexual assault the same way they did with violent assault, where they gave Ray Rice 2 games, they saw public outcry, and then they decided to act. And it's the same thing with Deshaun Watson, where this has been going on for a while, and they waited for all the public outcry to take any action. And it's one of those things where it's not really fair to the players or the people who are supposed to be upkeeping this, and abiding by the rules when you're changing the rules on the fly. So, it's kind of it's a tricky situation. Word is in the last hour that there's a rumor the league's going to appeal.
They have 2 more days to do it.
Thursday by 9 a.m. Is when they have, but there's rumors they have, and they're saying that Roger Goodell is going to increase the punishment. I don't know how true this is. But basically, if Deshaun takes this to court, he doesn't really have much to stand on because when it comes down to a court, when you get into court, you're going to Deflategate, you're kind of looking in the Zeke trials. this is the CBA. Like him appealing and changing this, it might piss everybody off. It might feel wrong. It might feel like we're getting fucked, but in reality, they all agreed to this. This is the power that they gave him when they signed this this agreement. It sucks. It's not really right, but it is what it is. So
I feel like this is the only reason it might be like way longer than 6 games is that Roger Goodell really could see this as an opportunity to get some good press,
publicity,
on the NFL
absolutely,
and really just fucking hammer this home, like really just take the book and throw it completely at him. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Deshaun doesn't play this year, just because of today's kind of culture and things like that. I think it just makes so much sense for the NFL to do something like that I can't really foresee them not at least extending it in some regard. But I guess we'll see
precedent too.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm glad you brought precedent up. So that's one of the things before we move on to the baseball. That was something I saw today where one of the reasons they may not appeal is Sue Robinson's name is on this decision right now. And if they appeal and they make a decision, it is now their name on that decision. And now that could be used as some sort of precedent going forward, where now, okay, you could just take the stance of she gave out 6 games. She is who we voted. She looked at all the evidence. She's the arbitrator. We don't agree with it, but we're not going to fight it. But we can always say, but we wanted for a year. We pushed for a year. We did everything we could because we did what we could to get a year. But Sue Robinson chose 6 games. Now, whatever they come out with now, they're now basically erasing Sue Robinson's name and fucking stamping their name on it. And that might not be something that they want. I mean, you're kind of getting into muddy waters there because, like I said, this could come back in the future and they're like, okay, well, this is how you ruled in that case type of thing. So,
yeah. And they have to have it in by Wednesday, right? I'm not mistaken. Thursday morning. Okay.
So we'll see if there's an appeal. We'll be on the lookout for that, and we'll get that news to you as soon as we hear it. But the last thing we got on today is the St. Louis Cardinals colossally fucked it up. And today was the MLB trade deadline. We're not going to spend long on this because I don't even fucking care about the deadline anymore because the St. Louis Cardinals, John Mozeliak is the biggest cuck fuck that has ever ran a professional team. Like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. We have got a chance to get a generational talent, 23 years old. Nobody ever that age who is an all-star the same year at 23 years old has ever been traded. I mean, this guy has won fucking 2 silver sluggers. This guy is a World Series champion. He was an MVP front runner. Okay.
This is a jackpot.
This is a jack of all trades. We are baseball heaven. We're supposed to be this fucking, where all players want to come. Everything was just perfect. This was perfect. And all they wanted was Dylan Carlson and fucking Jordan Walker, and we wouldn't do it. This is going to be, this is not just a fuck up. This is not just an oops. We're not just missing out. This is something that I think will stain John Mozeliak's reputation forever. And I think that this is something that will be, dude, I do 100%. And Dylan Carlson, he's fucked. Oh, fuck. Dylan Carlson, dude, like, he is forever going to be the guy, and it's not his fault. I mean, obviously not his fault. He's a good player,
I feel bad
but
for him.
He is forever going to be the guy in St. Louis Cardinals fans' eyes that was what held up a Juan Soto trade, and that is just true.
It was a matter of we were willing to give up one of them, but not both of those guys, right?
Correct.
Right.
Could the Cardinals? I mean, I guess the Cardinals can afford Juan Soto.
100%. Well, we had the best package. The Nationals literally said.
No, I'm talking about from like can't we, like, wasn't he getting like a $450 million contract offer before? Were we trying to match that? Or like,
well, no, we would have signed him to an extension, I hope. But here's the thing: he's got 2 years left. This is what the Padres are saying. So the Padres say today that after they sign him, they hope extensions, will happen. But before the trade, they were saying that they want to go for Juan Soto so bad because he's 23 years old and only got 2.5 years left of protection. Say he doesn't fucking want to resign there. He's then 25. He's 25, 26 years old. He's the best player in baseball. Now you can flip him to get all of those prospects, basically. So you're basically just going to replace those prospects in 2 years.
Yeah.
Yep. Genius, really.
It's a genius move.
But when did the Padres become the fucking New York Yankees of the West?
That's what I'm saying.
Unlimited pocketbook. I mean, they have
3 days ago they were out of it. They were like they can't. They traded for that hater from fucking Milwaukee, or is it Milwaukee? Or where did the fucking hater come from?
You're right.
And everybody's like, okay, well that probably takes them out. They're making these big moves, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden they trade. I mean, they traded for half the league today.
Yeah, and they got Juan Soto and Josh Bell
and then Brandon Drury after that. Yep. It's like, what the fuck?
Dude,
half that money they could have kept their football team in San Diego.
Seriously.
I mean, no shit.
And so what the biggest issue here is for Mo, I think, is that the rest of the trade, like besides this fall through, which was catastrophic, the other moves that we made, I actually kind of like.
Yeah,
I liked Jose Quintana. Cool. I like Jordan Montgomery. Like those are two guys that we fucking needed. We really needed super bad to help with the rotation. But we didn't get the big dog
for us now. You know why? Because
we didn't get the big dog.
Because when we have no offense, when it comes to when two of our hitters are hitting, when it comes to fucking, here's the thing: Jordan Walker is a third baseman. You know who else is a third baseman? Yeah. Every goddamn prospect we have. You know who else is a third baseman? Our entire fucking infield that we have turned into.
Nolan Arenado. Is not. I mean, unless he opts out.
Nolan Gorman. I mean, look at all these. Dylan Carlson. Look at all these guys that can play third base that fucking don't play third base because we have so many of them. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, Mo, like, come on. I don't know. It's just, to me, we missed a golden opportunity here. What were we gonna say?
You could have gotten Soto. Yeah, you could have gotten Soto, and we could have limped through the rest of the year with average pitching, and then taking care of that in the offseason. But at least you got the guy in the long run.
Dude, can you imagine Nolan Arenado? I mean, you're batting
Goldie,
Juan Soto, Nolan Arenado, fucking Paul Goldschmidt. You got to think Nolan. And if Nolan Arenado leaves because of this, if he doesn't re-up here in a couple of years because we just didn't do anything to fucking build around him besides do this petty shit at the deadline every year, like you can't blame the guy. So, I mean, guys, he's also a generational talent who's not going to fucking sit around and wait. So
I think the Cardinals ownership has shown that they, when it comes to like signing big like talent, like they've been pretty consistent. I can't really hate on them too much. I mean, we have Goldie and we have Arenado. I mean, I know that's
what's
like,
surprising.
I think like a lot of Cardinals fans are used to us just like farming them up and making and molding them into players and doing something with them. But
I think the track record of the Cardinals
I'm not saying that like I'm not upset that Soto didn't come here, but I'm also not surprised. Like it's never been the Cardinal way.
But that's what pisses me off. Like this is one of those things where you just forget about the Cardinal way here.
I agree with Nick, because like when you do have a player like Goldie and you have a player like Arenado, like we are on the cusp. If we could just get a little bit more, this team could really. I mean, and if you could lock these three players up, hypothetically, if you could have locked them up for 3 or 4 years, like I think the Cardinals are a favorite to win a World Series at least one.
I'm with you, dude.
Sure.
I'm with you.
Well, and if we're not trying to win the World Series, then what the fuck are we doing out here?
And we bring in people signing. I mean, historically, we do bring in people, which I think was what surprised me the most, is that we obviously really liked Juan Soto, and we didn't put all the chips in to actually get him.
We got that far and backed off.
That's what drives.
Well, I just read a second ago. I just scrolled through Twitter before we pulled this up. John Mazzeo, the front office of the Cardinals, are now saying they don't believe they were even second place. They don't believe that they were able to get. They were going to be able.
They're saving face.
They're saving face. They're now saying that we called this morning and we were never going to be able to. I can look up the deal the Padres gave them. I see it with my own fucking eyes. They have one top fucking 100 prospect in the top 10 in that deal. We were going to give them 2 or something. The other guy's like in the fucking 80s. It's like our package deal was so much better. And they even said that they prefer our package. And we just said no. And that's just, it's pathetic. So, but anyway, what?
Padres look fucking great.
They're scary, dude. They're fucking scary.
They're going to be in the World Series.
I wish somebody
would tell me what a 3-pack.
I wish somebody would tell me they preferred my package.
Well, maybe next week. But so this has been Pop Culture Rehab this week. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Next week we're gonna get into some fucking AFC East. We are now everywhere. Everybody, we are everywhere. We have expanded to wherever you get your podcasts. So take your opportunity.
You have no excuse.
No excuse.
This shit.
If we're not fucking top 10 in a few weeks, like, I mean, come on, pick up the fucking slack here, because we are, I mean, literally everywhere. We're on things that I've never even heard of. We're fucking posting shit, and I'm like, bro, I don't even know what this is. So wherever you get your podcast, tune in, subscribe, hit the bell, watch us on YouTube. We will get these out to you. We'll see you guys next week. Oh God, that was terrifying. Don't put that back up. Eric Hosmer, baby. That was
almost saved us.
I thought it was our savior today, but Eric Hosmer fucked it all up. But
for a moment, he was the most dangerous man in the world.
God, man, I thought he was gonna fuck up the Soto trade, but it didn't happen. But oh well, guys. Well, you guys have a good week. We'll see you guys next week. Kisses.
Peace.
Love you guys.